Right, so ministry sheet. Let's quickly run through it, nice and easy. Your test was on this map. This map remains important for your exam. If you got anything wrong, please go to the English blog, the ESS blog. If we go over here, there we go. There's your answers. Simple, okay? Please note, those of you who got it wrong, Muscat is spelled like that. Okay? It's like trying to spell Abu Dhabi, Babu Sabi. Okay? If the letter's wrong, the place is wrong. Okay? Remember, this is the Strait of Hormuz. Okay? It's all there. Moving on. Ministry sheet. Okay? So it's all there. Go take a look at it. Make sure this is the Tigris River. This is the Euphrates River. These dot things, those are capitals. As in the most important city. Abu Dhabi is the most important city, is the main city of the UAE. Okay? It's the capital. That's why the dot's there. Okay? Right. Now, what do you need to know with the ministry sheet? Obviously, you don't have to know everything. I gave you those worksheets so that you could go through the work so that you could see what was important. The ESS ministry worksheets that I gave you, I would suggest that you read through them and you answer those questions using the ministry sheet. Then mark it. Otherwise, you learn nothing. You do need to have read the ministry sheet. Okay. The important things to note here, you do definitely don't know number 2. So, when the UAE was formed in 1971, okay? Bahrain is the land which consists of a group of islands. KSA is the one whose coasts look over the Arabian Gulf and the Red Sea. Okay, especially important. This is important. This, very important. Okay, each of the Arab Gulf states is an oil-producing country. Okay, they all produce country. Okay, and they have more than half of the world's oil reserves, according to the chart above. How much of the oil reserves did they have in 1996? 62%. Okay, moving on. This paragraph is quite important. Why is the UAE the center of world attention? Well, because of its natural resources, being oil and gas, and its very good geographical position, or you can say its location if you can't think of anything else. Okay? Over here, please know what it means when we say solidarity and pan-Arab. So it's very important for the future of the Arab Gulf states that they are unified, there is unity, and that it is between unity with all Arabs. Pan-Arabs, meaning all Arabs. Okay. Now, why is it so important that everyone here gets along and everyone works together? Well, because the Gulf states are small in area and population, so they need to work together. Cooperation has to happen if they want to be great. Okay. How large are the Arab Gulf states? There's your number. Come on, you can learn it. How large is the total population? 44 million. Okay? Not 4.4 million. This is in your question, the worksheet I asked you to do. Very important. If I go to the worksheet very quickly, it's over here. No. Here. How can the Arab Gulf states decrease dependency on other countries? 3 things. Okay. Number 1, develop the use of agricultural livestock. So develop farming. Okay. Farm animals. Develop mineral wealth. Develop industrial wealth. What does industrial mean? Industry, factories, producing things. Not just getting oil out of the ground, but actually processing the oil into petrol and into plastics and so on. We can also decrease our dependency by producing our own food or producing our own manufactured products. So instead of just, I don't know, buying soap from China, we could make our own. What if China wanted to stop selling us soap? We'd all have to stink. Okay, moving on. This is quite important. Okay, know that progress in all these fields is very important. Okay, you can also say progress in cultural fields is important. Okay, so economic progress is important. Okay. The discovery of oil resulted in there being many changes in the industry, and it meant that cooperation had to be increased. Okay. So many of the states formed agreements. These agreements were bilateral. Bilateral comes from the prefix there is bi, which means two. So bilateral agreements are agreements that affect two sides, so two countries or two states. Okay. Some of these agreements were collective, meaning many countries or many states agreed on them. Okay. The Unified Economic Agreement was signed in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Okay, important. Moving on. What I really want you to know here, what's really important, is you need to know what educational and cultural cooperation between the states aims at. It aims at promoting knowledge and eradicating illiteracy. Illiteracy meaning not being able to read. If people cannot read, they cannot be productive members of society anymore. And so if the states want to continue becoming powerful, they need to make sure that no one is illiterate. They need to make sure everybody can read and write, because there are still places where people can't. Okay? So they want people to learn, so they promote knowledge, and they want everyone to be able to read and write so that they can learn. Okay. So it has been agreed that educational projects must be taken on, and these projects must aim to spread knowledge and to remove illiteracy. So what sort of projects are we talking about? For instance, when you went to the book fair recently, the one there, we went to the exhibition center and they had all of those book stands. That would have been that is part of educational and cultural cooperation between the Gulf states, all right? Because it allowed you to be exposed to different books. I mean, I've never seen so many books from so many different countries before. It was quite amazing. Often we're just exposed to books from, for instance, America or just Britain. But here it was books from all over the place, especially the Gulf states. Okay? Quite important, who is in charge of these projects? The Arab Education Bureau for the Gulf states. It is their job to supervise projects. By the way, don't just listen to me speaking. Pause the video, take notes, highlight, mark off on your ministry sheet. Please don't just be sitting and listening to me passively. I know I'm going fast. I'm trying to not take too much time. Okay, you need to pause. Okay, pause and play. Make sure that your video quality is up maximum so that you can see as much as possible. Okay. Also, what's the purpose of scholarships between the Gulf states? Scholarships are granted to students, and they allow students to gain an understanding of the different states. So, for instance, you're given the money and the resources to be able to say, go study in Oman for a term instead of just studying here. Then you'll experience what Oman is like if you've never been there before. Okay? Moving on. Cultural cooperation. So now this is cooperating in things to do with cultural fields. So the arts, music, drama, art exhibitions. Okay. Meetings are held to improve, the ministers hold meetings regularly just to make sure that there are always new projects coming out. Now, there are many different people in charge of making these projects happen, but the two core ones that you need to know about are the AGCC, Joint Program Product Establishment, okay, and the Gulf News Agency. Okay. Where is the AGCC based? It's in Kuwait. Okay. What are the programs that it produces? Ceremonies, cultural cooperation, and programs on TV. So, for instance, they will have, if there's any sort of a festival or something, they might organize a ceremony. They will try and find ways to get the different states to cooperate together culturally, like, for instance, the book fair. They can also be in charge of making television programs. Now, what do these television programs show? They show programming that is about problems that people in the Gulf areas encounter. Okay? It tells the people here about the past, and it also tells them about new advances in technology, for instance. The Gulf News Agency is in Manama in Bahrain. What is medical cooperation? Medical cooperation is where the states have to work together to try advance their technology. So instead of keeping their new technologies to themselves, they're more willing to share new things that they find out. They also share when, for instance, new diseases come out. They work together to try and find solutions. So this is very important here. Medical cooperation aims at fighting diseases and promoting health awareness among citizens. Okay, this is very important. Okay, so 2 methods employed by the Ministry of Health to promote health awareness among citizens. So they use hospitals and clinics to make people more aware of public health. They also use public service announcements. So, for instance, adverts on when you go to the movies, they might play an advertisement telling you how to wash your hands properly, for instance. What specific actions do you do every day to keep yourself healthy? Wash your hands, eat healthy food, exercise. Okay. Now, who is in charge of cooperation in the Gulf states? Medical cooperation? It's the Health General Secretariat. You don't need to know that word off by heart, but if you see it, you need to know what it's about, you need to know where they're based, and you need to know what they've been involved in. Don't worry about the first one. Just know that they've been involved in making sure that the drinking water and the food quality and the medicine quality are all good. Okay? Imagine if your drinking water was terrible. Who'd check up on that? They do. They make sure that there is health awareness. So, for instance, when the coronavirus came out, they made sure that all of the Gulf states knew about the coronavirus. And they also play a big part in fighting against diseases. Political cooperation, it's very important. Remember we said at the beginning of this that because the population and the area sizes of the Gulf states are not that large, it's very important that the Gulf states all work together. And so politically, they need to work together. You can't have the different countries fighting with each other, because if they're fighting with each other, then it's easy for other countries to come and take advantage of them. So, political cooperation unifies our stand on world political affairs, meaning that all of the Gulf states have the same views about international political events. Okay, don't worry about this. You can leave that. Okay. What I do want you to pay attention to is this paragraph. If we examine the stands taken by each of the Arab states individually on these issues, we can easily see that they are always identical. So in other words, the Gulf states always agree with each other when they're talking about external issues, okay? And the fact that they agree proves that there is coordination and cooperation between the Gulf states, okay? Now, who is in charge of making sure that there is political cooperation? That would be the Gulf Arab Cooperation Council. Okay, what do? They make sure that there is cooperation in the political and other fields. Okay, so what is the aim? I want you to know, what is the aim of the Gulf Arab Cooperation Council? Its aim is to make sure that there is coordination and cooperation in fields. When they say fields, they're talking about education, economic, and so on. Okay. There is coordination and cooperation between the Arab Gulf states. Okay. Military cooperation. There's no heading here, but there should be a heading. So, military cooperation between the Gulf states is very important, because if the if they started arguing, then they'd start fighting, and then, as we said, they wouldn't be able to defend themselves or grow properly. Okay. What you really need to know is who is in charge of protecting the Arab Gulf states. Is it America? Is it Britain? Is it China? No. It is the Arab Gulf states. Okay? So the leaders have said that they are the ones. It is the Gulf region is the sole responsibility of the Gulf and its states. Meaning, only the people here, the people in the Gulf region, are in charge of making sure it is safe and stable. They don't want people from outside coming in and interfering. Okay? So who's responsible for security and stability in the Gulf region? The people of the Gulf. Makes sense. Okay, so here we've got a nice big fancy table, people having a nice organized meeting, and we're going to be talking about the Cooperation Council for the Arab Gulf States, otherwise known as the AGCC. If I ask you, who are the AGCC, you need to be able to write this long thing. If I give you this long thing and I ask you, what are they known as? You'll say the AGCC. But it's better know that name. Okay. Please know how many member states there are. There are 6. Okay, you know that, the Gulf states. I hope you can name them. The headquarters of the AGCC is in Riyadh, and it was established on the 25th of May in 1981. Okay, those 3 points, important. Okay, over here I've highlighted the member states. You should know this. Okay, those are the 6 member states. Very important. What are the objectives of the AGCC? Now, please listen carefully because this paragraph is messy, confusing, and horrible. Quite simply, they want to promote mutual cooperation. Mutual means we work together. Okay? If there is a mutual relationship, if we help each other mutually, that means I do something to help you and you do something to help me. So mutual cooperation means I cooperate with you, you cooperate with me. It's not that you ask me for something and then I help you, but when you ask me, I don't help you. No. If you ask me, I help you. If I ask you, you help me. Mutual. Okay. So they promote mutual cooperation. And they approve joint projects. What are these joint projects aimed at? They are designed to bring prosperity to our people in the Gulf. Projects like the book fair, okay? Anything where the Gulf states are working together. They can be educational, they can be cultural, they can be political, economical. An economical joint project would be where they have trade agreements. I will sell you something and you will sell me something, and you know that I will buy from you, and I know you will buy from me, and I'm not going to try steal from you. Okay, I'm not, and if I say I'm going to buy from you, I'm not going to decide tomorrow I'm going to buy from someone else. I will buy from you. Okay, those are examples of some joint projects. Okay, this very, very important. You need to know this, and you need to know this. There's a couple of ways that you could be asked this. You could be just given this blank and you must fill everything in. Or, for instance, I'd leave that out and I'd give you that. Or, I will give you this, but I'll leave this out. Okay, so label this. Learn this, okay? This is the structure of the AGCC. Simply, who is in charge, who does what. Okay, it's like, for instance, if you think of ICS, we've got the board members who own the school, the owners of the school. Then we've got Mr. Derek. Then we've got Ms. Wafa. Then we have the coordinators. Then we have the teachers. Then we have you. Okay. Please read through this, but you don't have to really study this. Read through this. Okay. The Arab Gulf states have always offered their political backing to other states in the Islamic world. Okay? In other words, they've always offered to help other Islamic countries, even those that aren't in the states. Okay? They have promoted educational and cultural cooperation. So sponsoring students from other Islamic countries to come to the Arab Gulf schools. I'm not sure if any of you that I teach are sponsored, but perhaps, like when I was in school, there was one of my friends came from Germany. She'd won a scholarship, and the government paid for her to come to South Africa to study in South Africa for a year to see what it would be like. Okay. Other things that they do that include cooperation with other Islamic countries is, for instance, they build mosques, okay, or they give money. They do also cooperate with the rest of the world. It's not just the Arab world that is closed by itself. The Arab nations have been very clever, and they know that it's very important to cooperate with the rest of the world. Okay, so the Arab Gulf states maintain good relationships with most countries in the world. They are members of the United Nations. If you don't know, the United Nations is a massive organization that basically ensures that all countries are governed fairly, that people who are starving receive food. When there are national disasters, they go out and they try and help people. I'm sure you heard of Hurricane Katrina that happened in America a while ago. The United Nations made sure that there was food and accommodation for people whose houses had been destroyed in the hurricane. Okay. They are advocates of world peace, meaning they support world peace. Okay. Very, very, very important. Okay. Go through this, please. Very important. If it's false, go find the true statement. Know why it is false, because this could be given to you with the true statement and you need to know that it's true. Okay, so for instance, all Arab Gulf states are oil producing companies. That's supposed to be true, because each of the Arab Gulf states is an oil producing country. That is true. I will have to correct that. Okay, all of them. Bilateral agreements, so I'm just going to mark this here and now before somebody comes out running and says, no, you said on the video, blah, 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 blah. Insert picture, smart art. There we go. Where's a cross? Cross, cross, cross. There we go. Bam. No, tick, 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 tick. Sorry. Why is there no tick? I can't see a tick. Okay, so tick. Oh gosh, let me pause. Okay, moving on. Sorry about that. Okay, moving on. Sorry about that. So all Arab Gulf states are oil producing countries. True. Bilateral agreements, meaning two. Are those made between more than two states? No, that's wrong. It's only two. Cooperation, solidarity, and unity between Arab Gulf states is the best way of realizing our goals. True. The Peninsula Shield exercises train the armies of the Arab Gulf states. True. The establishment of the Health General Secretariat is meant to promote cultural cooperation in the Arab Gulf states. False. Why? Because they promote health. Can you remember what their objectives are? Those are important. The Arab Gulf University has been established in the city of Doha. No, it's Manama. Okay. Go through this. The information is there on page 66 and 65. Underline the correct things. Okay. Last page, very important. Please know this. So the Unified Economic Agreement between the member states of the AGC is meant to promote cooperation. That refers to industrial cooperation. The establishment of the Gulf University is meant to promote educational cooperation because it's a university. So we're talking about education. The foundation of a military force representing all member states obviously would be military. The funding of the joint program production establishment, cultural. Can you remember where they are? The unified the unified stands taken by all Arab Gulf states, so the unified positions taken by all Arab Gulf states on international problems, reflect political cooperation because they all work together. Okay, and that's the ministry sheet. I'm also going to, you should have received the worksheet. Please answer this. Okay, I know you've got the answers now, but answer this. I specifically set this up so that if you do this, which you were supposed to do during your ESS periods during the last week, if you do this, okay, and then you use the answers given to you to mark, then you'll be okay. All right? Right? But don't just try study this and then with this, okay? Do it. Really, it's ridiculous. This was given to you so that you could do this during ESS class time, and I'm quite upset to hear how few of you actually bothered. I sat up and I did this because I knew I wasn't going to be able to teach you. So please, this is set up for your own good. This is to help you study. Use this to help you study. It's not difficult work. It's parrot learning. You simply read the ministry sheet, okay? Go through the ministry sheet, answer the questions. Know these 2 pages. Very, very, very important. Okay. Right. I think that just about covers it. Good luck with your exam. I'm not trying to catch you out. Unfortunately, ESS is a study subject. If you study hard, you'll do fine. If you don't study, you can't do well. You're not going to be able to guess it, and no, it's not all going to be multiple choice. You do have to study from the textbook as well, but you've already studied that work for the weekly. Okay, so again, to recap, what must you study? You must study this, okay, the maps, okay, this work, okay, as well as these pages, okay, boom, 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 okay. So page 372 to 375. Okay, just the highlighted words. I've given you the definitions now. So if you don't know, if you can't read, then just come and look over here. Okay, I'm going to upload this so that you can download my presentation too. Okay, and then you need, so it's this, these, this. Okay, with these answers. Also put it up so you can download it in case you haven't already. Okay. Then you have the ministry sheet which you need to study. I've now gone through it with you. In record time, I might add. And then you've got this. Please use this to study. The answers for it. And that's it. Okay. It's really not a lot to study. Especially you've got the whole of tomorrow to study. So good luck. All the best. If you do have any questions, please put them in the comment section below, and I will check them tomorrow evening. Good luck.